Hold on, because what happened after Kim Mulkey's game just sent women's basketball fans into absolute chaos online. Seriously, the second those post-game comments started spreading across social media, people instantly stopped talking about the game itself and started focusing on Kim Mulkey instead. And honestly, the reactions got ugly fast, because some fans were calling her brutally honest. Others were saying she completely crossed the line. But no matter which side people were on, everybody kept repeating the exact same thing. Did she really just say that? And trust me, it gets even crazier once you see the full situation behind it. Because this wasn't one of those normal emotional press conferences where a coach gives boring answers and walks away. Nah, the tension already felt strange before Kim Mulkey even opened her mouth. Players looked frustrated. Fans were already arguing online. Commentators sounded uncomfortable. And then Kim walked into that room and somehow made the entire situation explode even harder. That's when social media completely lost control. Clips started going viral everywhere. Basketball pages instantly reposted the moment. Fans began fighting in comment sections. And suddenly people who didn't even watch the full game were now jumping into the drama, trying to figure out what everybody was reacting to. But here's the wildest part. Some fans actually believe Kim Mulkey knew exactly what she was doing the entire time. Because if there's one thing women's basketball fans know by now, it's this. Kim Mulkey never stays quiet when controversy starts building, and somehow she always finds a way to make the spotlight even bigger. And honestly, that's the moment where fans realized the situation was becoming way bigger than just another emotional post-game interview. Because once Kim Mulkey's comments started circulating online, people immediately stopped focusing on basketball and started focusing on whether she had just created another massive controversy around herself again. And if you've followed Kim Mulkey long enough, then you already know this somehow keeps happening around her. Because no matter what game it is, no matter what situation she's in, Kim always finds herself standing directly in the middle of the loudest conversation online afterward. And honestly, some fans are starting to believe that's not accidental anymore. Because the timing of everything felt way too perfect. The game already had tension. Fans were already frustrated. Social media was already heated before the final whistle. And then Kim Mulkey walked into that press conference and somehow managed to make the entire atmosphere feel even more explosive within minutes. That's when basketball pages started going crazy. Clips from the interview began spreading everywhere. Reaction accounts reposted short moments instantly. Fans on both sides started arguing nonstop in comment sections. And suddenly the entire conversation shifted from what happened during the game to did Kim Mulkey really mean what she just said? And trust me, that question alone completely changed the energy online. Because one thing about sports fans, they love controversy when emotions are already high. And Kim Mulkey understands attention better than almost anybody in women's basketball right now. That's why some fans genuinely believe she knows exactly how powerful her words become after emotional games. Especially because this isn't the first time she's triggered massive reactions publicly. People still remember previous interviews, previous sideline reactions, previous media moments where fans accused her of being too blunt, too aggressive, too emotional, or too confrontational. But weirdly enough, those same controversial moments are also part of why she has such a massive presence in women's basketball culture now. Because even people who dislike Kim Mulkey still watch everything she does. That's powerful. And honestly, sports personalities who create that type of reaction usually become impossible for the internet to ignore. You can already see it happening again right now. Some fans are defending her aggressively, saying she was simply telling the truth after a frustrating game. Others believe she added unnecessary drama to an already emotional situation. And then there's another group of people who honestly don't even care whether she was right or wrong. They just love the chaos every time she speaks publicly. And that group might actually be the loudest right now. Because social media feeds on moments like this. Emotion, controversy, strong personalities, viral reactions. And Kim Mulkey somehow creates all for almost every single time cameras get placed in front of her after tense games. But here's where things become even more interesting. Because some basketball fans are starting to notice a pattern surrounding the way Kim handles pressure publicly. While other coaches usually try calming situations down during interviews, Kim often sounds like somebody completely unafraid of making the conversation louder instead. And honestly, that's exactly why fans can't stop talking about her. Because in modern sports culture, silence rarely goes viral. Strong reactions do. And Kim Mulkey always seems comfortable creating strong reactions whether people agree with her or not. That confidence is what keeps audiences emotionally locked into everything surrounding her. People tune in expecting drama before she even starts speaking now. That's how strong her reputation has become online. And maybe the craziest thing about this entire situation is how quickly casual fans got pulled into the story too. Because once clips from the interview started trending, even people who didn't watch the game suddenly wanted context immediately. They started asking, what exactly happened? Why are fans this angry? What did Kim Mulkey say? And once curiosity reaches that level online, viral momentum usually explodes fast. That's exactly what happened here. The clips kept spreading. Debates became louder. Reaction videos started appearing everywhere. And suddenly what should have been a normal post-game interview turned into one of the biggest talking points in women's basketball conversations online. But honestly, the most fascinating part might be how calm Kim herself seemed during all of it. Because while fans were losing their minds online, she never really looked nervous about the backlash growing around her. If anything, she looked completely comfortable standing in the middle of the chaos once again. And trust me, that level of confidence under pressure makes her even more polarizing. Because people expect controversial personalities to eventually back down once criticism starts flooding in. Kim Mulkey almost never does. And whether fans love that attitude or absolutely hate it, it's one of the biggest reasons she keeps dominating sports conversations over and over again. And honestly, that's where the situation started becoming even more intense than fans originally expected. Because once the first clips of Kim Mulkey's comments exploded online, people immediately began searching for the full interview, trying to figure out whether social media had taken her words out of context, or whether the reactions were actually justified this time. And the deeper people looked into the moment, the messier the conversation became. Because some fans believed Kim sounded completely frustrated and emotional after the game, while others thought she looked way too calm for somebody supposedly speaking in the heat of the moment. And trust me, that difference completely changed the way audiences reacted afterward. Because if fans think somebody accidentally said something emotional, people usually move on quickly. But if audiences start believing somebody intentionally made controversial comments knowing cameras were rolling, that's when the internet becomes ruthless. And honestly, that's exactly the direction this situation started heading. You could literally watch the divide growing online in real time. One side kept defending Kim aggressively, saying, "She's just honest. People are too sensitive. She says what other coaches are scared to say." While the other side sounded completely exhausted by the constant drama surrounding her. They kept saying things like, "Why is it always something with Kim Mulkey? She loves attention. This wasn't necessary after the game." And once fan bases become that emotionally divided, the conversation usually gets way bigger than basketball itself. That's exactly what happened here. Because suddenly people weren't only debating the actual comments anymore. Now fans were arguing about Kim Mulkey as a personality overall. Her history, her reputation, the way she handles pressure, the way she talks to media, even the way she carries herself on the sidelines during games. Everything became part of the discussion. And honestly, that's when you know a sports figure has reached another level of visibility. Because regular coaches don't create this type of emotional reaction online. Only polarizing personalities do. And Kim Mulkey has become one of the most polarizing figures in women's basketball, whether people want to admit it or not. That's why every emotional moment involving her instantly turns into internet chaos now. Especially because fans already enter games expecting drama whenever she's involved. You can feel it before interviews even begin. Audiences watch her body language constantly. Cameras zoom in on every reaction. Commentators analyze every expression she makes during tense moments. And honestly, very few coaches in sports create that level of attention naturally. But here's the wildest part about this entire situation. Some fans actually think Kim enjoys the chaos. Seriously. There are people online convinced she understands exactly how viral her reactions become and intentionally refuses to water herself down for the cameras. And whether that theory is true or not, one thing is undeniable right now. Every time Kim Mulkey speaks after emotional games, the internet listens immediately. That level of influence is massive, because now her post-game interviews almost feel bigger than the games themselves sometimes. Fans rush online waiting for clips. Reaction pages prepare posts instantly. Sports accounts start monitoring her quotes before interviews even finish. That's insane attention for a coach. And honestly, it explains why this latest moment spread so aggressively across social media platforms within hours. Because people already expected something dramatic before she even started talking. But then another layer of conversation started appearing online that made everything even more explosive. Some fans began questioning whether women's basketball media secretly benefits from personalities like Kim Mulkey creating these viral moments constantly. Because the reality is, controversial reactions generate unbelievable engagement online. Arguments create clicks. Drama creates shares. Strong personalities create headlines. And Kim Mulkey somehow delivers all three almost effortlessly. That realization made some fans even more frustrated afterward because they started feeling like the basketball itself was becoming secondary to the chaos surrounding personalities. But weirdly enough, others argued the complete opposite. They believe figures like Kim are helping women's basketball grow faster because emotional moments bring new audiences into the sport. People who normally wouldn't watch full games suddenly become interested once viral clips start circulating everywhere online. And honestly, both sides kind of have a point. Because whether fans love Kim Mulkey or absolutely cannot stand her anymore, people keep talking about her nonstop. That attention keeps women's basketball trending. And in today's sports culture, attention is power, especially online. Which honestly explains why this latest situation refuses to die down even after the game already ended. Because now it's no longer just about one comment anymore. It's about the larger conversation surrounding Kim Mulkey herself. And judging from how emotional fans still sound online right now, this drama may only be getting started. And honestly, that might be the most dangerous thing about all of this for women's basketball right now, because once a sports personality becomes bigger than the actual game itself online, every single moment starts turning into a national-level debate instantly. And Kim Mulkey is reaching that territory fast, because now fans don't even wait for full context anymore before reacting. The second clips from her interviews start appearing online, people immediately pick sides emotionally. Some defend her before hearing everything. Others criticize her instantly no matter what she says. And that level of emotional division is exactly why every situation involving her explodes so aggressively across social media. You could literally see it happening after this game. Within minutes, hashtags started trending. Reaction accounts were posting clips non-stop. Sports pages started asking fans if Kim had gone too far again. And suddenly thousands of people who never even watched the full game were arguing about the situation anyway. That's how powerful internet narratives have become in modern sports, especially in women's basketball where emotions feel louder than ever right now. Because the sport is growing fast. New audiences are arriving daily. Fan bases are becoming way more aggressive online. And personalities are driving conversations almost as much as performances themselves. That's why figures like Kim Mulkey create such explosive reactions now. Because she doesn't behave like a quiet coach trying to avoid headlines. She walks directly into controversy without looking nervous at all. And honestly, fans can sense that fearlessness immediately. That's why even people who dislike her still keep watching every interview she gives. They expect something dramatic to happen eventually. And whether intentional or not, Kim has mastered the ability to keep audiences emotionally locked into whatever she says next. But then another twist started, making the entire situation even crazier online. Because while fans were debating her comments, some people started revisiting older Kim Mulkey moments too. Previous interviews, previous emotional reactions, previous sideline arguments, previous viral quotes. And suddenly social media timelines turned into full compilations of Kim Mulkey controversies throughout the years. that's when the conversation really exploded. Because once audiences start connecting current drama to past behavior, the situation stops feeling isolated. Now people start building entire narratives around somebody's personality overall. And honestly, that's exactly what's happening around Kim right now. Some fans genuinely believe this latest moment proves she hasn't changed at all over the years. Others think critics unfairly target her because she refuses to act politically careful during interviews like many coaches do now. And trust me, that debate is getting unbelievably intense online. Because people aren't discussing basketball calmly anymore. They're discussing identity, personality, leadership, media culture, emotion. And once sports conversations reach that level emotionally, things become almost impossible to control. Especially because clips online rarely show full context anyway. Most fans react emotionally within seconds after seeing one short viral moment. They don't wait for explanations. They don't watch full interviews. They react instantly based on feelings. And Kim Mulkey's personality creates strong feelings fast. That's why every facial expression she makes gets analyzed now. Every pause during interviews gets interpreted differently. Every emotional reaction becomes another headline. And honestly, very few coaches in sports history operate under this level of constant attention. But here's where things become even more fascinating. Because despite all the criticism surrounding her constantly, Kim never really seems interested in changing herself publicly. That's the part fans can't stop talking about lately. No matter how much backlash appears online, she still carries herself the exact same way afterward. Same confidence. Same blunt energy. Same fearless attitude in front of cameras. And depending on who you ask, that either makes her authentic or incredibly reckless. That's the divide tearing social media apart right now. Because authenticity has become one of the most valuable things in sports culture today. Fans claim they want real personalities instead of robotic media answers. But when somebody actually speaks emotionally and creates controversy, audiences often attack them immediately afterward too. Kim Mulkey lives directly inside that contradiction. And honestly, she might understand that better than most people realize. Because even while fans were criticizing her online, her clips continued spreading everywhere anyway. Reaction videos kept appearing. Sports pages kept reposting quotes. Commentators kept discussing the drama on television. The attention only grew bigger. And maybe that's why some fans are becoming convinced Kim Mulkey knows exactly how to control the sports conversation without even trying too hard. Because somehow, no matter what happens during the game itself, people always leave talking about her. And honestly, that's probably the exact reason why this latest Kim Mulkey situation feels so much bigger than a normal post-game controversy now. Because at this point, fans aren't just reacting to one emotional comment anymore. They're reacting to years of built-up opinions about who Kim Mulkey is as a public figure. And that changes everything. Because once audiences already have strong feelings about somebody, every new moment becomes emotionally charged before it even happens. Supporters immediately rush to defend them. Critics instantly expect the worst. And somewhere in the middle, social media chaos completely takes over. That's exactly what happened here. Because after the interview clips exploded online, the basketball conversation itself almost disappeared completely. Nobody cared about box scores anymore. Nobody cared about stats. The entire internet became obsessed with debating Kim Mulkey's personality instead. And honestly, that might be the biggest sign of influence any sports figure can have in modern media culture. Because whether people love her or hate her, Kim knows how to dominate the conversation better than almost anybody in women's basketball right now. You can literally feel audiences reacting emotionally before she even starts speaking sometimes. That level of anticipation is rare, especially for a coach. But Kim Mulkey stopped feeling like just a coach to many fans a long time ago. Now she feels more like a sports personality mixed with a walking headline machine. Every reaction becomes content. Every interview becomes debate fuel. Every emotional moment turns into another viral topic online. And honestly, the internet almost seems addicted to the chaos surrounding her now. Because deep down, sports fans love unpredictability. They love emotional tension. They love personalities who refuse to sound robotic. And Kim delivers that energy constantly whether people agree with her or not. That's why this latest moment exploded so aggressively online. Because fans already entered the situation emotionally prepared for controversy the second cameras pointed toward her after the game. But here's where things become even more interesting moving forward. Because some fans are beginning to wonder whether moments like this are actually changing the entire culture around women's basketball itself. Years ago, most mainstream conversations focused mainly on games and performances. Now, personalities drive engagement almost equally. Viral reactions, emotional interviews, player beefs, coach controversies, social media wars. That's the new reality of modern sports culture. And Kim Mulkey exists right in the center of that world perfectly, which honestly explains why her influence feels bigger than ever right now. Because she understands attention. She understands emotion. And whether intentional or not, she understands how to keep people talking long after games end. That's powerful, especially in today's internet era, where attention disappears incredibly fast. But somehow Kim keeps pulling it back toward herself over and over again. And maybe that's why reactions surrounding her feel so exhausting to some fans now. Because the drama never fully stops. Every few weeks there's another viral clip, another heated debate, another emotional moment, another wave of fans arguing across social media timelines. And honestly, some people are starting to believe women's basketball has never had a figure quite like Kim Mulkey before. Because most coaches eventually try avoiding controversy once backlash becomes overwhelming. Kim almost seems energized by it instead. That's what makes her fascinating and frustrating at the exact same time. Which honestly explains why audiences keep returning to every story involving her even when they claim they're tired of the drama already. Because deep down, sports fans don't just want competition anymore. They want emotion. They want tension. They want personalities who make games feel bigger than basketball itself. And right now, very few people in women's basketball create that type of emotional reaction better than Kim Mulkey. But the craziest part about this whole situation might be this. Even after all the backlash, all the debates, and all the criticism flooding social media right now, one thing still feels completely undeniable. The second Kim Mulkey speaks after emotional games, the entire basketball world stops and listens. So now I gotta ask y'all honestly, do you think Kim Mulkey is simply being real and unapologetic after emotional games? Or is the constant drama around her starting to become too much for women's basketball? Because after everything that happened, fans online still cannot agree on what they just watched. Some people believe Kim said exactly what needed to be said. Others think she completely made the situation worse the second she started talking. But one thing everybody seems to agree on right now is this. Whenever Kim Mulkey grabs a microphone after a tense game, chaos usually follows. And honestly, that's exactly why the internet keeps obsessing over every reaction she gives. But I want to hear from y'all down below. Did Kim Mulkey cross the line this time? Or are fans overreacting again? And be real, if another emotional post-game interview drops next week, are y'all watching immediately or not? If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button because we're covering the wildest women's basketball drama, viral reactions, emotional moments, behind-the-scenes tension, and sports stories mainstream media isn't talking about the same way. Subscribe and turn notifications on because trust me, the way women's basketball drama is growing right now, this Kim Mulkey situation might only be the beginning of something even bigger online.